Hi, this is Coach Shawnee Lavender, and today I am going to be talking about some things that seem random perhaps, and yet they are the inspiration that I had for what I want to talk about today. And here's the inspiration. Here's that random inspiration that I have. It's baby birds and mama birds, and daddy birds too, uh, growing bird families, and it's playground accidents, and particularly a specific playground accident that happened with my daughter this week. And what these all come down to are the topic of essential life skills and our role as parents, and what are we here for, what's our job. And I have a lot of different ideas about that. I want to relate it though to these specific again, random ideas of bird families and playground accidents. So let me give you a bit more so you can say, oh, okay, I actually get what you're talking about. So outside my window, and sometimes you'll see on my videos, I look over a certain way. When I do this, I'm looking out my window. I have a couple bird feeders, a suet feeder and a regular just grain bird feeder. And the birds love them. There's nobody out there right now, but we get all kinds of birds. We have woodpeckers, we have cardinals, uh, goldfinches, blue jays, house finches, several varieties of woodpeckers, I actually said. I saw a brown thrasher out there earlier. There are chickadees, titmice, all kinds of birds, which I love. We also happen to have 4 cats at our house, so this is our upper level story, and so it seems like a safe bird place. So I really enjoy watching the birds, and I certainly see them more at certain times of the year than others. And I notice too when there's new bird activity, there's new babies, and there's more active adults. And so that gets me thinking about, oh yeah, there's these bird families that are growing, and they're these mama and papa birds that are out there helping their baby birds grow into competent adult birds, because that is their job at their level of beingness. Their job is to make sure that these babies survive into adulthood, and that they have the skills as adult birds, or juvenile birds even, to be able to care for themselves, get their own food, know where to nest, know how to build a nest, all those things. So it gets me thinking about, wow, that's important work as birds. They really need to be effective teachers. So that's part of what's bumping around in my head as I see these birds is, wow, teaching, that's really an essential part of bird parenting. So now a little segue. So a couple days ago, I got a call from my daughter's school, pretty late in the school day, and that it was one of her teachers, and the teacher said something to the effect of, I don't want to alarm you, which of course then, right, I felt alarmed, but nonetheless, he said my daughter had been gotten a pretty good gash on her hand. He thought it might require stitches, so on and so forth. So I, went to school, picked her up. It did need stitches. She got 3 stitches, and she did really well through that whole experience. I fainted, so I didn't do as well, but that's another story. You can go look on my Facebook page for that. But the point that was related to what I want to talk about today, there is a point, I promise, is that one of the things that I thought of as all this was transpiring was, here's my daughter who's 7.5, and she's at school when this, traumatic thing happens. It was, it's a good sized cut, and obviously it was painful, and there was blood on her coat and things like that. And now granted, she's in a supportive environment, and yet the people whom she really comes most to for support, I'm the primary one. She does rely on my husband, and yet for emotional things, she definitely feels most comfortable, most bonded to me on those things. So I wasn't there. And as parents, we know that we are not always going to be there for our children. While part of us wishes, anytime they encounter a bump in life, we want to be right there. We want to be their go-to person. that's not the way life is designed. They're not meant to be with us all the time and throughout their lives. And so I was thinking of, wow, she got through this experience. Obviously, she had other support. And at the same time, she needed skills in and of herself, or in herself, that she could draw on to support herself during a trying experience. And so that, to me, it was a real heartfelt reminder of, yeah, that's part of what I'm doing. And I get emotional when I talk about this. Just to sort of aside for those of you that don't know me or don't know me as well, um, I have a longer story than this, but my adoptive mom, I'm adopted at birth. My adoptive mom died when I was 21. And it was pretty unexpected. I mean, we had about 6 months of her life after knowing she was sick, but nonetheless, she had been very healthy, and so it was unexpected. Um, and that was a real blow for me psychologically, because at some level, I thought, as a young person, I had this assumption that, oh, my parents are going to be around forever, even though intellectually I knew that they wouldn't be. There was just that, well, yeah, they're there, and they've been there for me, and when I've needed them, they're there, and things like that. And so for me, partially through that life experience, I am very keenly aware that I very, 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 very likely am not going to be around for my daughter's entire life. I'm a little bit older as a parent. I'm 46. So I feel that really acutely myself of, boy, I want my daughter to have every resource that she can have within her, so that when I am not here, she has that sense of, I'm sufficient. I know what to do. I know how to get myself support. I know how to support myself. And so I am very, very attuned and aligned with the idea of, one of my primary jobs as her parent at this point is to support her in developing the skills that will enable her to move through life with as much grace and ease as possible, knowing that there's going to be parts of life that seem easy and smooth for her, and there's going to be parts of life that seem rough and bumpy. And so to me, it's like, that's my mama birding, right? That's my, okay, yeah, I want her to have those essential life skills. And for me, a big piece of that is the life skills that originate up here. And I'm talking about mindset. I'm talking about beliefs, not specific beliefs like, do you believe in God, or do you believe in higher consciousness? Not that. I'm talking about beliefs like belief in self, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, belief in about other people, they're inherently good, things like that. Those are the types of beliefs I'm talking about primarily. And so it's those kind of things. It's that ability to really use one of the most amazing tools we have as human beings, our brain, to help her move through life, move through the frustrating moments, the scary moments, the uncertain moments, the moments of big elation, the moments of super excitement, the moments of anxiety, to be able to move through those with as much fluidity and grace and ease as possible. And so we know now from a lot of different places, but one of my favorite places is the world of interpersonal neurobiology, that there are really some different ways that we are wired and that we can develop skills within ourselves as adults, but also within our children, so that we are able to take what's going on in the world and not crumble under it when it seems overwhelming, but to be able to navigate through it and problem solve and use critical thinking. And so it's those kind of skills that I am most passionate about and excited about, because again, the research has shown that these are the ones that are most tied to a very rich, rewarding life. It's not necessarily a specific skill like, do you know how to change a tire, or can you do advanced math, or do you speak more than one language? Those can be beneficial, absolutely. And yet it's these broader skills of ways of thinking and ways of understanding the world, ways of being able to control ourselves, calm ourselves, regulate ourselves, that are so essential. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I was doing this morning before I got here on Facebook, and those of you that watch on YouTube before you see this video. And so what I want to tell you about is specifically a program that I have. It's actually starting tomorrow, but you can join it after tomorrow. Soon is better though, and it is a program called the Yes Brain Learning Circle. And it is based on the newest book from two authors that are very well-known, best-selling authors, Dan Siegel and Tina Bryson. And their book is called The Yes Brain. And it's working through that book. It's giving you the tools from that book and supporting you in actually developing them, not just reading about them or thinking or saying, oh, that sounds nice, but actually then building them in to your family and practicing them and working with them so that you can become more adept. Because as a teacher, I think you all know this already, though, as a teacher, one of the most important things that we can do is we can be competent with the skills. We can be really masterful with them. If we want our children to learn them, much more effective to be able to do them ourselves than to just say, hey, go do this skill, learn this thing. So not only are you going to get to develop the skills in and of yourself, so you come from what Dan Siegel and Tina Bryson call the yes brain orientation or the yes brain perspective, but you're also going to learn how can you cultivate that in your child and in your children. And so let me give you just a couple examples of what that looks like and relate it to everyday life. So going back to my daughter's experience. So she could, from that experience in that moment where she got her hand cut badly, as she could have really crumbled under that. Now, her way of crumbling might have been to withdraw and really close in on herself and maybe not want to have other people help her or support her. Or she could have lashed out. Her expression of crumbling under that pressure of that moment could have been to lash out at other people and fight and yell and do those kind of things. So it depends on her temperament, but those things, those two reactions, are going to make it hard for her to come through that immediate experience in a positive way. When she develops the skills that we learn in this book, the Yes Brain, she learns those skills to be able to, have this experience of, oh my gosh, my hand really hurts and it's bleeding quite seriously, but I can still control myself. I can get myself support of a teacher or a friend to get a teacher. I have those tools within me to be able to make it through a tough moment in the moment. So that's a big part of Yes Brain, is helping your child develop those skills to get themselves through those moments where they might right now tend to lose it in some form or fashion. Also, though, Yes Brain is about then taking that experience, because now that is part of her life experience, and taking that and really making it into something useful and positive in terms of what are the things she's going to tell herself about that. Does she get from that experience, oh, I should never go on the playground again, or I should never play with these friends, or I should, not take these kinds of risks again because I'm always going to get hurt? No, that's not a yes brain approach. That's shutting her down to life. That's saying, no, it's too risky. I can't do that. However, a yes brain approach would be more of, wow, here's some things I learned from that. I learned I'm resourceful. I learned I'm pretty tough. I learned that people around me want to help when I need help. I learned that maybe sometimes I could pay more attention to certain risks that are out there. So that's more of a yes brain approach. It's taking life and the experience of life and growing from it and learning and having new capabilities come out of that. A no brain approach really basically sort of takes the learning and forgets everything. It's like, oh, nope, I'm not learning anything from that. I'm just going to shut down because it was just awful. So that's a real specific example, but you can see it in everyday life with your children. So it's like if they struggle sometimes, maybe they struggle with perseverance, they start something, it gets a little hard or uncomfortable. A yes brain approach or a yes brain child is going to have, ultimately, is going to have that perseverance to stick with something, to figure out ways when things get tough. Well, what do I do? How do I make it so it's not so tough, but I stay in it? A yes brain approach also would work with a child who, let's say, has anxiety around things, doesn't want to try new things, or doesn't feel comfortable going into new situations or new settings. The yes brain skills are going to help them develop their courage, develop that willingness to try things out and see and say, oh yeah, what really is possible here? So there's so many applications. And the cool thing about this program, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the program momentarily, but one of the cool things about it is that it's nothing, you don't have to do anything special. You're going to use your everyday experiences with your children to work on and cultivate yes brain and find out, where are they now? Like, which emotions are really hard for them to tolerate? Which ones are their areas of greatest growth potential? Which things are already easy for them, so that you can really customize what you're learning to each specific child you have and where they are at, age-wise and developmentally. So that's one of the things I think is really cool. No special tools. It's like working out without any special equipment. Your equipment is your normal everyday life with your kids. So just briefly, let me tell you a little bit more about the program, and the link is in the description. So if you want to find out lots of details, they're all there. And when you go to that page, which is shawneelavender.com/yes, Y-E-S, -brain, B-R-A-I-N, when you go to that page, there are several buttons where you can register. So you don't need a special link for that. Just click on one of those register now buttons. But here are some of the details. So this program is primarily informational focus. That didn't sound very good, but that's what it is. It's mostly information. So each week for 6 weeks, you are going to get a detailed chapter overview, just to give you a sense. Here's, oh, you can't see that. There's part of session 1. I think that's like 6 pages of overview, and then 3 pages of homework for session 1. And what I'm doing there is basically I'm doing the reading for you, because I know sometimes you just don't have the time to read, right? I understand. So I've done the reading for you. So I'm going to basically give you the details about what that chapter contained. You can go back and read parts that really sound particularly interesting or pertinent to you. Then I'm going to give you, one of the key pieces is I'm going to give you specific homework, because I believe that there's a challenge as parents that sometimes what we do is we watch videos like mine, or we read articles on the internet, and so we're like, oh, yay, more information. And then we don't act on it, because life is life, right? And so I'm giving you specific homework to say, do this, experiment with this, so you can build these skills. Because I believe it's not enough just to read or learn or digest information. You want to implement it. And so I guide you in specific implementation that I recommend to help you really solidify these skills and solidify these practices. So each week, that's what you'll get from me. You'll get a detailed chapter overview. You'll get detailed homework that tells you what to do and what to work on. Now, it's not like some of my other programs where you get lots of interaction with me. However, at the end of the program, actually in May, there's going to be a question and answer teleconference that I'm going to lead. And as a participant, what you get to do is you get to submit questions to me for that teleconference. All the parents will submit their questions. I will respond on that teleconference to all the questions I've been given. So it may take me an hour, it may take me 2 hours. I'm going to record that teleconference so you can hear my answers to your questions. You can hear my answers to all the other parent questions, because to me, I want to give you that support. I don't want you to just be out there like, oh, I got all this, but I still didn't understand this piece, or I needed more information. You get that chance. You get to ask me, what are your key questions, so that I can give you some personal support. So that's going to be part of what you get as well when you become a participant in the Yes Brain Learning Circle. So it's 6 weeks long. It is self-paced in terms of you read the material at your pace and digest it at your pace. There is that question and answer teleconference at the end of the program in May, and you'll submit your questions. I will respond to all of those. And so that's the program. So it's really convenient. No matter where in the world you are, you can do it on your time zone. You do the work. I will do the responses on that Q&A teleconference. You'll also get the recording to that if you can't be there live, and just to listen to on an ongoing basis if you want. So again, all the information is on my website, shawneelavender.com/yes-brain, YES-BRAIN. So let me take a pause and see if there are any questions at this point, and that's going to be it. So those are the pertinent details, and it's going to be a fun time. It's really, really wonderful information. It's so practical, and it's going to benefit you as well, because I can tell you from my work with my clients and just my own life, many of us did not get these skills growing up because it wasn't what our parents knew. It wasn't what was known at the time. And so for many of us, this program is actually going to be helping us significantly build our yes brains and see where we get sort of lulled into that no brain kind of approach, and where we have areas for growth. So it's exciting for us, exciting for our kids. And so I hope to see many of you there. I'm excited that I've heard from several of you already that are going to be there. So thank you. I will be in touch very soon. And for the rest of you, I hope to see you on the list soon. And again, details are at the link above. And I wish you all a wonderful day. Everybody stay safe on those playgrounds, and, get your eyes to the sky and see what kind of birds you see in your neighborhood, and see if they have any lessons to teach you. All right. Take care, everybody. This is Shawnee Lavender. I'm the Conscious Moms Coach. Find me on YouTube, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and you're also invited to join my Facebook community, the Conscious Moms Circle. All right. Have a great day.